Okay, welcome back. This is the second part of solving equations. So the first problem we'll do is just a basic one that will help us understand about negative signs. So anytime you have a negative x or variable, in this case it's x, we could treat this as a negative 1. So this is like saying negative 1 times x equals negative 5. So since this is negative 1 times, we do the opposite. We want to divide by negative 1. So in this case, x equals, in this case, when you divide and you have two negatives, it makes it a positive. So that makes that a positive 5 because 5 divided by 1 is 5. Moving on to number 2. Now I've got a specific number in front of it. It's a negative 2. So it's negative 2x equals negative 20. So in this case, that is like saying negative 2 times. So you do the opposite, you divide. In this case, x equals negative 20 divided by negative 2 makes it a positive 10. Now, to check your work real quick, I'm going to do one of these for you. You'd say negative 2 times 10 equals negative 20. Negative 2 times 10 is negative 20. Negative 20 equals negative 20. That is a true statement. We did this correctly. Now, fractions. Fractions tend to still get us a little confused. Some of us shut down when you see this. But what I want you to do is treat this fraction as a division problem. Say that it's x divided by 4. So to get rid of this 4, since it's x divided, what you want to do is you want to multiply it. Because when you multiply these 4's cancel and make it a 1. That frees up the x. But if you multiply by 4 on one side, you have to multiply 4 on the other side. So 2 times 4 is 8. Now to check your work, for x, I'm going to put 8 divided by 4 equals 2. 4 goes in 8 2 times. This is a true statement. Now I want you to take some time on this. We'll do the exact same way. Think about fractions are division problems. So to get rid of this 5, you have to multiply by 5. Do it to one side, you have to do it to the other. Now, this frees up because the 5's cancel. X equals 5 times 0, which is 0. Now, kind of like a little mini lesson, if I put in 0 over 5 equals 0, when 0's on the top or in the numerator, it's 0. That is a true statement. However, this is where I'm going to show you. If it was reversed and if it was like 5 over 0, remember that is undefined. Okay, moving on to the next one. So now I'm looking at this negative x plus 4 equals 12. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come right over here and put a box around this negative x, and I want to move the 4 over to the 12 by subtracting it. So subtract 4 on both sides. Now I have this negative x equals 8. So what I want us to think about now is treat that negative x as a negative 1. So that's negative 1 times x. You do the opposite by dividing. You get x equals 8 divided by negative 1 is negative 8. And up here, I'm going to check this for us real quick. So I've got that negative in front of the x. I've got a negative in parentheses. I'm putting negative 8 for x plus 4 equals 12. Two negatives make a positive. 8 plus 4 equals 12. 8 plus 4 is 12 equals 12. That is a true statement. Okay, guys, hold your breath for a while because I know this has got some fractions. It's got some negative signs. But I want you all to piece this step by step. Do not look at this as a whole equation. We need to break this down. So my first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my variable, which is x, and I've got it as a fraction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a box around the x over 4. And I want to get rid of this minus 8 by adding 8 to both sides. So by doing this, this frees up, you got x over 4 equals, okay, negative 3 plus 8. You do this in your head. You owe me 11. You pay me back 8. You still owe me 3. Now, if you recall up with these fractions right here, all you're doing is multiplying by the denominator. So in this case, I'm multiplying it by 4 on both sides because the 4's right here will cancel now. X equals negative 3 times 4 is negative 12. I want to do one of these because I want to check your answers since it's got a fraction in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put negative 12 in for x over 4 minus 8 equals minus 11. 4 goes into negative 12 negative 3 times. Negative 3 minus 8 equals negative 11. If you owe me 3 and owe me 8, you owe me 11. So it's negative 11 equals negative 11. And that is a true statement. Got two more of these. Now this is one like in a previous video or a previous lesson. What I'm looking at is I've got two sets of numbers and two sets of variables or variable on each side, which is x. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move my 5x plus 36 on the left side and move my x plus 48 on the right side. Now what I'm looking at is this. I'm looking at, okay, what is the more positive number? In this case, it's this 5x. I'm going to have to, since the x on the right side is positive, I'm going to subtract it on both sides. Now I get 4x plus 36 equals 48. Now I'm going to protect this 4x. By doing this, I need to cancel out or get rid of, or in other words, move the 36 over to the 48 by subtracting it. So the 36 cancels now. Subtract 36. Now you get 4x equals 48 minus 36 is 12. Now, to move the 4 over, since that's 4 times x, you would have to do the opposite, divide on both sides by 4. The 4's cancel, so that leaves you x equals 3. So now if you put 3 back into the original equation, you would get 51 equals 51. That is a true statement. Now finally, I've got another equation that is 18 plus 8 equals negative 2, then in parentheses, x minus 13. Now, when I'm looking at it on the left side, 18 plus 8, we can go ahead and add that up to give you 26. But now what I'm going to do is this negative 2 is in front of the parentheses. That's the distributive property. So that means I want to multiply negative 2 to x to make that negative 2x. Negative 2 times negative 13 makes it a positive 26. So if you want to, you could move this over. Negative 2x plus 26 equals 26. I'm going to protect the negative 2x right now. So that means I want to move the 26 over to the right side by subtracting it. Now this is where some of us could be alarmed because we're like, okay, 2x equals 0. So the answer has to be 2. No. What you want to do is you want to still do what we've been taught is that's 2 times x. So what you want to do is you want to do opposite of multiplication, divide it. Now x equals 0 goes divided by 2 gives you 0. This is what we want right here, 0. Now, if I put my 0, so let's take a look at this. 18 plus 8 is 26. So all I'm doing is checking this, my work right now. If I put my 0 in for x, I've got negative 2, 0 minus 13. So 26 equals negative 2, and then in parentheses, 0 minus 13 is a negative 13. Then when I multiply negative 2 times negative 13, you get a positive 26. That is a true statement. So now this concludes my sections on 9.1 and 9.2 for solving linear equations. I plan on putting more videos out, hopefully in the next day or two. Thank you very much.